Hello everyone, my name is Arjun, and I'm 30 years old. Today, I want to share my English learning journey. You might wonder why I'm telling this story. Well, I used to think that learning English as an adult was nearly impossible. I thought I was too old, too busy with work, and too far behind others who had already mastered it. But I learned that it's never too late to start. My journey began about 2 years ago. I was comfortable in my own language, Hindi, but something was missing. English is everywhere, in my job, on the internet, and even when meeting new people. Every time I needed to speak English, I felt nervous, and sometimes, I would avoid situations where English was required. But I knew I couldn't continue like this. One day, I decided enough was enough. I had to do something about it. My first step was setting small, manageable goals. I didn't aim to become fluent overnight. I started by reading short English articles online, listening to English songs, and watching English TV shows with subtitles. These activities helped me get used to hearing the language and picking up new words. In the beginning, I would read just one article a day. I remember reading children's stories, which might sound silly, but they are a great way to start because the language is simple and easy to understand. As I read, I would keep a notebook with me to write down new words and their meanings. At night, before going to bed, I would revise these words. It wasn't easy, but the more I practiced, the better I became. There were many challenges along the way. One of the biggest was speaking in English. I could understand it when I read or listened, but speaking was a different story. I was afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being laughed at. I remember one time at work when I had to give a presentation in English. My heart was racing, and my mind went blank. I stumbled through the words, and afterwards, I felt embarrassed. But then I realized something important: everyone makes mistakes. What matters is learning from them. So, I decided to focus on speaking more often, even if it meant making mistakes. I practiced with friends who spoke English well, and I found language partners online. This was a game changer for me. Speaking regularly helped me become more comfortable and confident. I also experimented with different tools to improve my English. One of the best resources I found was language learning apps. I used apps like Duolingo and HelloTalk to practice daily. They are easy to use, and I could fit them into my schedule, even on busy days. The key was consistency, learning a little bit every day. In addition to apps, I started watching TED Talks and YouTube videos. These helped me not only with listening skills but also with learning how to speak naturally. I would pause the video and try to repeat what the speaker said. This helped me practice pronunciation and intonation. Sometimes, I would even record myself speaking and then listen to it later to identify areas where I needed to improve. The real turning point in my journey came when I started using English in my daily life. At first, I only used English when I had to, at work or in emails. But soon, I realized that I could practice English in small ways throughout the day. For example, I started thinking in English. Instead of thinking about my tasks in Hindi, I would ask myself, what do I need to do today, in English? This simple shift helped me practice without even realizing it. I also started speaking in English more often at work. I would volunteer to take on tasks that required English communication, like giving presentations or leading meetings. It was scary at first, but the more I did it, the more confident I became. I realized that people were not judging me for my mistakes, they appreciated my effort to improve. One of the most satisfying moments in my journey was when I realized I was able to hold a full conversation in English without feeling nervous. I remember sitting with a colleague from another country and discussing a project entirely in English. When the conversation ended, I felt proud of myself. It was a clear sign that all my hard work was paying off. Looking back, I can see how far I've come. Learning English has not only improved my career prospects but also opened up a new world of opportunities. I can now watch English movies without subtitles, read books in English, and communicate with people from different countries. If you are like me, someone who feels like it's too late to learn a new language, I want to tell you that it's never too late. Learning English, or any language, takes time and patience. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you practice, the better you'll become. Here are a few tips that worked for me. Set small goals, don't try to do everything at once. Start with simple things like reading short articles or watching English videos. Practice regularly, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day, consistency is key. Don't be afraid of mistakes, the more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Mistakes are part of the learning process. Use different resources, apps, videos, and language partners can make learning more engaging and effective. Celebrate your progress. Every milestone, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. My journey to learning English is still ongoing. I'm not perfect, and there's always more to learn. But what I've realized is that learning a language is not just about mastering grammar or vocabulary, it's about confidence, communication, and making connections with others. So, if you are on your own English learning journey, keep going. You'll get there, one step at a time. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it inspires you to continue your own journey of learning and self-improvement. If you like this video, please subscribe and like this channel.